System pass. No faults found. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on the Mini Cooper and we have yet one more issue. Stay tuned. So this is the active air control unit from the 2015 Mini Cooper. Basically this motor would sit in here. It connects to a cable just in here. There's a connection on the chassis which this thing connects onto. Quite simply, when the actuator opens and closes, the vents open and close. I'm not entirely sure how this functions. I'm guessing on a hot day it will open up and allow more airflow. The intercooler and the AC is all behind here, so I guess that would make sense. Once you park up, if the engine is still running a bit warm, I think it opens up also and allows more air basically into the radiator to help cool the engine. I could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure if that is correct, but basically this needs to open and close. And today the Mini threw up a code, I think it was 28CD00 or something like that. I will throw it up on screen what the actual error code was. I diagnosed the error using this guy here. You can use a generic code reader, but what I have found, especially with the Mini Cooper, if you guys are subscribed, you would have seen videos working on this car before. If there is no engine light, basically you get no help. With this scans individual modules and helps you to diagnose the issue, and in this case it diagnosed this was a fault. The wife said she got a restricted performance message on the dash. I think it said error 42. It restricted the speed to I think 30 or 40 miles an hour. So she came back home. She used my car for the day and I got stuck with a broken one. I guess, yes, you could go to BMW and purchase a brand new one of these. I don't know how much they retail for. I've seen these on eBay for about £120 pre-owned. This is pre-owned and is faulty. So why buy a pre-owned one, because I may have this issue once again. So the logical thing would be to replace it for a brand new unit. I started to do work on this and try to figure out what in fact was at fault. I removed the actuator, which basically sits in here like so. When I took it off the car, obviously you guys can see what the fault is, but when I took it off it was not like this. It basically looked just like this, but I could see a slight white stain. It looked like corrosion. When I peeled it back, as you guys can see, the wire has completely broke away. So I did use a multimeter. I connected the multimeter to these three connections here, these three down here. We had zero resistance on both ends. The one in the center, which is the blue one, it's easier to see on this one. This larger blue wire in the center, that had an open circuit. So I don't want to pay £200 or whatever it may be to get a new one of these and install it. So rather than going out and buying a brand new unit and in a few years time this may happen again, I'm just going to basically repair the wire. Right, so we want to remove as much corrosion as possible. So we'll try going back to about here. That's good wire. Do the same on this side. That's perfect. So we've got our replacement wire. It is the same gauge. You can do this a few ways. I like to separate the wires and then twist them together. And when you solder them and put your heat shrink over, almost looks normal. So currently we have the plug, the new connection on the blue wire, and this is the output. So if we get the multimeter on that end and then go to the third terminal, you can see the meter is 0.000. That means there is zero resistance between here and here. So the next step is to connect this to this. So we want to finish about there. Let's put the heat shrink on first. Spread the wires. Push them together. And then twist. Put a bit of flux on the solder. Quite simply, solder this back in. Don't know if the camera will pick that up, but on the brown wire there's a tiny mark just there. I'm going to wrap some electrical tape around this and some fabric tape, and that should finish this off quite nicely. You could add some silicone grease before you put the heat shrink around the actual solder itself, so just put a dab of silicone grease, put the heat shrink over the top, shrink it down, and the silicone grease will squeeze out each end. That way you know you've got 100% waterproof seal. The heat shrink, the tape, and then the fabric tape. That is more than enough. We are still reading 0 resistance, so I'm happy with that. So now it's just a case of putting this all back together and getting this back into the car. With this arm here, this was the tricky bit. I had to basically push down this lever till it was almost pointing straight down, and then you have to lift and pull this across and clip it in. It's a bit fiddly, but it is possible. Make sure that the cable is running along these clips. You do not want it loose, especially when the radiator is directly behind there. This clips onto the chassis. This connects to the connection, and there's a tab at the side which pushes in to the actual, I believe it's a subframe, and you should be done. Let's get this back onto the front of the car and get the bumper back on, hopefully, and call this project done. I won't show me putting the bumper on because this isn't a bumper removal installation video. This is how to get around the annoying error code that Mini has put in, because this thing has failed due to bad design. Right, so moment of truth. Quick scan. I believe it was the second one down it failed on. Yeah. Digital engine electronics scanning. Fault. Okay, so let's have a look at the fault. Read codes. Okay, so it's still detecting that as a fault, so it's clear. Code's cleared. Can you guys even see that? I don't think you can. Okay. Recodes. System pass. No faults found. So, okay. Go back. There's a fault at the top, which I think might be something to do with the parking light bulb being blown. Yeah, side light faulty. Right, I'll go and fix that and I'll get back to you. So I couldn't find a bulb, but it's not the end of the world. I'll pick one up if I can't find my pack. I have about 20 or so in the garage, but just no idea where they're at. This did great. About this, I would never been able to find out what was a fault, and I would not be able to clear the codes. If I recall the link where I got this from, I will leave a link down in the description. Yes, you could go out and you could pick up a brand new one. I just like the idea that I can repair it myself and save some money. I was not willing to pay, I don't know, £100, £200, £300, whatever it may be, just because one wire broke. There is zero resistance in the wire. Resistance causes heat. You definitely do not want that, but as you guys have seen, zero resistance, so all is well. So I think we'll end this one here. So like always, please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.